I am chief of staff at SummitPoint LLC, and my job is to make sure that all the teams have the correct information, resources, and communication to make sure that they're successfully completing all of their tasks. If inbound calls aren't correctly taken in, if the information isn't processed correctly, it can severely misalign the planning of the week that I have for the team. And if it doesn't align with the month that I have planned for them, or if I'm coordinating with the project managers and vendors and coordinators, if I miss one call, if I miss one meeting, it can really throw off a project on a large scale, especially when we're in high volume manufacturing. Before Smith.ai, my personal role and my sales teams and the strategic teams was very hectic. We each had around 4 cell phones because we had to field different conversations and calls. So Smith.ai has been key in us funneling and getting through. We don't want to say a filter because every call is important. So Smith.ai has helped us organize ourselves in a way that we can clearly take in everything that we need to make sure that we're talking and listening to the right people. Right now, in this particular phase, about 45% of our calls are sales leads calls that we're having because we're doing a lot of campaigning from sales through different channels. So we're getting a lot of calls that way. And the other are vendors mostly day to day because we have so many ongoing projects and teams. And then obviously, right now, we do. With the vendors, there's supply chain management issues that we have to deal with on a daily basis, and that's a big part of our day as well. So Smith AI has been not only on the time sensitive aspect, but the fact that we can look at the message, that we can see a small snippet of it summarizes for us what it is. Then we can already start making sure that we're already executing before we even go through the full call. April 2025, and I remember exactly because it was during spring break and I was trying to coordinate a couple of team members' vacations. Plus, we were getting ready to launch a big campaign in May. I was very overwhelmed, and our CEO reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I think I have a tool that's going to be able to help you guys." He's like, "I heard about this at the airport, so if you could please like look into it." So I looked into it. I talked with the team. We explored the platform. I was very nervous and hesitant at first because part of my job is to sort of be in the know of everything. And in my mind, I was like, wait, that's how is that gonna help me? I was completely surprised of how easy it was. The onboarding process took us 2 days, and it only took us 2 days because I had a list of follow-up questions that I had for the Smith AI team. And the next day they got me in contact with the correct person to help me set up everything that I needed to set up. So it was pretty easy actually. The first touch base was very, very comforting. So I got the phone call. It was, "Hey, do you have a couple of minutes that we can talk, just meet and chat?" And they're like, "Hey, you want to know more about this?" So I gave them a lowdown of what my worries were and what my expectations were. So just because I was like, I don't want to waste your time and waste my time. So I just want to make sure before I commit to having another call tomorrow with somebody, if this is something. But no, they explained everything that I needed. I got a follow-up. I love follow-up emails. So I got a follow-up email right away. It was saying everything that I had spoken about, we discussed in the call, and what the Smith AI team would be discussing the next day. And that's going back to what I particularly said. So it only took us 2 days to get everything. And then when we met with the onboarding team, that they were very patient. The first call was about 45 minutes. And that's just because I was very meticulous. I was very satisfied with that. On top of being the chief of staff of our company, I also help assist there's 3 other companies that we operate, and we've set up 2 other companies with Smith AI as well. Smith AI has been, again, I want to stress this very much. I think that there's a lot of misconstrued information of how these platforms work, right? So I think for me, it's been very professional because the other business arms that we have of the company are in finance, and then it's in consulting. So you're talking to a different type of client, you're talking to a different type of customer base, and you need to be very professional and very very forthright with what they have. So you don't want to sound like you're just giving somebody else the responsibility of their communication and their business. So it's been very easy and configurable. For, like I said, each one of these companies has been different for me to set up, and I've been able to apply the messaging through the platform easily. The call handling capabilities of the Smith.ai agents, it's just very normal. Like I thought it was going to be something very that I wasn't going to be used to, or I thought I was going to have to correct, or one of my big worries was that some of the messages weren't going to get translated correctly, or that we weren't going to get the correct copy or context of the messaging. But those have been very, very well. One thing that surprises me is the customer service, but also the pricing of the platform for what it does. That's also very affordable for us. We don't have a budget per se for marketing or for this type of service, but it definitely doesn't break our budget. It helps us with what we have. I understand the reservations about AI because I think we all have them, and I think it's something that we're all still learning to get to know, which is fair. But I think that if they were to try the Smith AI service, they would get all the information and it would be easily digestible for them to understand how it would help their business. So I was at the Dallas Expo in November, the week of November 19th, and I had to field a lot of calls there because it was me and a couple of other people there, but I can't take all 400 calls that I'm getting from that expo. But I didn't miss one call. I came back, I had all my follow-up, everything was very organized, and we delegated correctly to who needed to be delegated, and we touched base within 3 days to everybody that we were at the expo with. I would explain to any business owner or somebody who's in my particular role that Smith AI is not going to only be, it's not an investment or a cost. It's a resource that's needed, right? So for us, I can give you a clear number. I just had a financials meeting last Friday with our team. So we've increased our sales profit by 60% this year from last year. And that's from establishing our Dallas office in April. So Smith AI has been with us since April from that part. So we can say that it's definitely impacted us. As far as hard numbers, I mean, I was on the phone maybe 4 hours a day, which I'm still on the phone now for a couple hours a day, but it's the right couple of hours a day, and it's the right type of thing that it is that needs to be done. And then people who need maybe we're waiting for 2 or 3 days to get a simple answer are getting an answer the same day because my team's able to handle those calls as well because of the system. The most interesting part of working with Smith AI is the people. And it's funny because it's a platform, right? But every communication interaction that I've had with the Smith AI team has been very, very pleasurable. And I can tell because in my role, I talk to many, many people during the day, and you can tell when somebody is really listening and cares. And so that helps.